The war had ended, not with celebration, not with flags, music, or wine, just silence. For years, the kingdom had lived under fire. Smoke clung to rooftops, ash settled into rivers. Hope had become a rare thing. And then one morning, it was over. No enemy left to fight. No orders left to give. Only the stillness of a land that had forgotten how to breathe. Peace had returned, but not everything else had. The first knight was gone. He had led the charge in the final battle. No one saw him fall. No one saw where his body landed. And with him disappeared a relic, narrated, the blade of kings, older than the crown itself, forged in a forgotten age, passed down from hand to hand, wielded by warriors who shaped the world. Narrated wasn't just steel and leather. It was history. It was oath. It was the weight of generations. Now, it was missing, and no one knew what that meant. Rumors spread. Some said it had shattered. Some believed the enemy had stolen it. Others whispered darker things, that the blade had vanished on its own, choosing to be lost. But the king said nothing. He made no speech. No council met. No herald sent. Only a quiet message, a summons, for a knight who had served with no fanfare. No songs bore his name, no poets wrote of his victories, but he was trusted, precise, still. The king gave no reward, no blessing, no farewell. Just 3 words: bring it back. He left the next day. At dawn, the castle gates opened, not with the sound of ceremony, but with the grind of cold stone. He rode alone, no retinue, no flag at his back, only a plain horse, plain armor, and the weight of silence behind him. The road was long, unchanged since war passed through it. He saw towns hollowed out, farms rotted under frost, fields left barren, not by winter, but by fire. There were no birds, no carts, only wind, and the faint smell of smoke, still trapped in the dirt. He didn't stop, didn't look back. On the 3rd day, he passed a group of refugees, a dozen or so, gaunt, sunburned, wrapped in what little they had. They walked with heads low, shoulders tight. No one smiled, no one greeted, except one, an older man, eyes sharp behind a cracked brow. He stepped forward, grabbed the knight's reins. "Turn back," he said. "That place, it's wrong now. You feel it before you see it." He let go. Didn't wait for a reply. Just turned and kept walking. The knight said nothing. He never did. But something in his chest had begun to tighten. The road ahead began to shift. The soil no longer felt like earth. It was cracked, bitter. Trees were still standing, but dead, their branches twisted like claws. Here, the wind didn't whistle. It whispered. Here, the silence wasn't peace. It was warning. And yet, he kept riding. Because something inside him had always known that his path would end here. Not in battle, but in memory. He reached the ridge at dusk. Beyond it, the battlefield, where so many had fallen, where legends had been born and broken. He dismounted slowly, tied his horse to the trunk of a crooked tree. Its bark was black, as if burned from within. He looked out. No graves, no markers, just the remains of a war that didn't bury its dead. Helmets, some cracked, others still shining faintly, spears still planted where they had been thrown, and banners, half torn, half buried, fluttering in a wind that didn't seem to touch the grass. He stepped forward, carefully, as if walking across the back of a sleeping beast. Each footfall sank into the soft ground. Some patches gave way. Others were hard, scorched by something ancient and final. He didn't know what he was looking for exactly, but he knew he'd recognize it when he saw it. He had once served beside the first knight, briefly, from a distance. He remembered the way men looked at him, like a figure from a song come to life. He also remembered the sword, a red. It gleamed even when blood covered it, not from magic, but from memory. And memory doesn't fade, it waits. He pressed deeper into the field, past broken barricades, past collapsed wagons, past names that had long since faded from any scroll. And then he stopped, a flicker, far beyond the broken spears. Smoke, rising in a thin line from beyond a ridge. He moved low, quiet, trained. He crept toward the edge and saw them. 3 men, not soldiers, scavengers. They laughed too loudly, dressed in patchwork armor. Their camp was made from what others had left behind. Banners used as blankets. They dug, ripped open crates, shouted over each other, and then one voice rose above the rest. If we find that sword, that one, we're done. Our red's worth more than gold. The knight didn't move. He didn't react. But inside him, something shifted. Not fear, not anger, resolve. He backed away, quick, focused. Now he searched with purpose. He moved faster, deeper. He ignored helmets, past rusted swords, walked through torn tents and snapped lances. He was looking for one thing: silver inlay, red cloth, weight, the kind only a legend carries. The light was dying. The sun, now low, cast long shadows that danced between the remains. What was once loud and bloody had turned cold and hollow. Then he saw it, a flicker beneath the weeds, a sliver of metal, a color, nearly lost to time. He dropped to one knee. His hand brushed back the grass. There it was, a patch of cloth, faded red, torn, and beneath it, an arm, still armored, still clenched. His breath caught. Slowly, with care, he cleared the earth. Fingers wrapped around a hilt, not just any hilt. This one was carved with symbols he knew by heart. Each mark, a piece of history. Each curve, a memory. The blade was long, balanced, ancient, and unmistakably intact. A red. He hesitated, then placed one hand on the hilt and lifted. It came free, like it had never fallen, like it had been waiting. The weight in his hand wasn't heavy, not physically, but the meaning made him kneel. He stared at it, not with awe, but with understanding. This wasn't a weapon, not anymore. It was a grave marker. It was a promise. It was a question. And he had just answered it. But then, voices, not distant now, close, shouting. The scavengers had seen the glint, seen the movement. They were coming. He didn't run. He didn't raise the sword. He stood, turned, and walked. Calm, focused. The field stretched wide, broken, uneven, but he had walked it once already. He knew its path. He let it guide him. Past wrecked wagons, past forgotten trenches, past the remnants of stories no one would tell. Behind him, chaos. The scavengers shouted, stumbled, fell. They didn't know the terrain, didn't respect it. He didn't have to fight them. He just had to outlast them. And he did. By nightfall, they were gone, and the battlefield was quiet again. The smoke had stopped, the fire was out, the dead stayed still, and the night was gone. 2 days passed. At sunrise, the gates of the castle opened once more. No one expected him, no one waited, but he came. Dust on his boots, blood on his gloves, the sword, wrapped in cloth, held close. He walked through stone corridors, past halls that had forgotten the sound of footsteps. He entered the throne room. The king stood alone. No crown, no robe, just a man who had ruled too long, through loss. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. The knight stepped forward, unwrapped the blade, held it out, carefully, with both hands, then lowered it gently to the base of the steps, and bowed. Not for honor, not for reward, for closure. Then he turned and walked away. He left the same way he had arrived, quiet, unnoticed. Arid remained, resting behind glass, above the crest of the first night. It gleams still, though no blood has touched it in years. People come to see it. They read the plaque. They whisper stories. Most speak of the knight who carried it into battle, who died with courage, who became a legend. But a few, the ones who know, they speak of someone else. Not the first, the second, the one who followed, alone, who walked into silence, who stepped through memory, who found what was lost and brought it back, not for glory, not for gold, but because someone had to, and he did.